Must acknowledge the service this morning. It's been really wonderful to be able to see and hear the children's book. And of course, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, which is a question that I feel that we should be asking daily. What's going on? To not ask the question, leave us in a space of uncertainty, leave us in a space of doubt, leave us in a space of confusion. So that's a song that I feel should be played over and over again. What's going on? And too many of us are asking that question. What's going on due to the political climate? What's going on with COVID? What's going on with the health, mental and physical, of people of African descent? My name is Cherry Steinwender, and I want to say that February, Black History Month. But I want to remind us that Black History Month really is American History Month. What I would say at this time is that before there was American history, there was Black history, African history. But today, we look at and celebrate the accomplishments, the achievements of people of African descent, recognizing their central role in the United States. Known as African American History Month, the brainchild of Carter G. Woodson. Carter Woodson was a self-taught man. And I say self-taught that before he entered any university, he taught himself. Black History Month started out as just 1 week. And then it rolled over into 1 month. All too often, I've heard people say, yes, and they gave us the shortest month of the year, February. And I want to call your attention to, they didn't give it to us. Carter Woodson wanted the month of February because it was the birth month of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. And he wanted February. So when you hear that said, please offer a correction. Black History Month or African American History Month is celebrated now around the world. In Canada, the United Kingdom also donated a month to celebrating Black History Month. This year, the theme of Black History Month is a theme calling attention to the contributions made by people of African descent in medicine, because after all, the theme is about health and health disparities. And so we look at just a few of those. Let's highlight a few of African Americans around Black wellness and health. The first person, many of you may know these, but if not, you're hearing them for the first time. Patricia Bath, 1941 to 2019. She was the first person to study ophthalmology. And in fact, and during her research, she recognized or learned that people of African descent had more visual problems as well as blindness, which caused her to want to do something about that. Otis Boykin, 1920 to 1982. Boykin was an inventor whose work with electrical resistance paved the way for the first successful pacemaker. Ben Carson, 1951. Ben Carson is a retired neurosurgeon who performed the first successful separation of cogerent twins. Rebecca Lee Crumple, 1831 to 1895. Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler was the first Black woman to earn a medical degree in the United States. To continue, Charles Drew, 1904 to 1950. Charles Drew was given the title of Father of the Blood Bank. This surgeon is accredited with discovering a method for long-term storage of blood plasma and organized this country's first large-scale blood bank. Simon Carter Fuller, 1872 to 1953. Simon Carter Fuller was called this country's first Black psychiatrist. June Mccoon Smith, 1813 to 1865. In 1837, James Mccoon Smith became the first Black African American to receive a medical degree. Daniel Hale Williams, 1856 to 1931. Daniel Hale Williams, famed African American surgery founder of the Providence Hospital, pioneered in heart surgery. So these are just a few as we look at the theme in celebrating Black History Month, American History Month. When we look at our history, and as I said earlier, our history did not start in America. Our history really started in the land of the birth of modern humans in Africa. In that history, when you intertwine the people taken from Africa and the people that were the beneficiaries of taking people from Africa, we have to acknowledge that along the west coast of Africa, there were numerous slave fortresses. And as the people that were to be enslaved was taken from the interior of Africa, made to march to the Atlantic Ocean. Many of them had not seen the ocean, because remember, they were from inland. What happens when you arrive at the fortress? You are first bathed, and then you are baptized in the name of Christianity or in the name of Jesus. People of Africa have known to be very spiritual people. And so into the dungeon, waiting for them to become totally filled with Black bodies to make the trip across the Atlantic. So you see, our history didn't start in America. After the American Civil War finally came to an end, and 150 plus years ago, on April the 9th, 1865, reflecting on slave life, reflecting on how the people of African descent survived their enslavement. And one of them, the ways were through prayer. And it was really interesting to me to read about some of the prayers. And in fact, to even listen to a broadcast that's on a DVD in our office, which I couldn't locate, but it's narratives from people that were enslaved in this country. Those stories can be heard by visiting Slave Narratives, which now is housed in the Library of Congress. It was very difficult for me to even hear the words of life that they lived. But then, as I said earlier, what sustained them? A lot of them were sustained through prayers. And as I read Sojourner Truth, her prayer, "Do for me, God." Sojourner Truth said, "Oh God, you know I have no money, but you can make the people do for me, and you must make the people do for me. I will never give you peace until you do, God." Praying for other people to rise up, praying that God would give other people the faith to be able to aid her, to help her. Harriet Tubman, unconditional affirmation. She says, "I'm going to hold steady on you. You got to see me through." It's almost like a demand. You have to, God. You have to see me through. For without you, there's no way. Frederick Douglass, In Search of Freedom. I search for freedom. You are loosed from your mourning, and you are free. I am fast in my chains and am a slave. You have merrily before the gentle gaze, I sadly before the bloody whip. You are freedom's swift-winged angels that fly around the world. I am confined in bonds of iron. Oh, that I was free. Oh, that I were one of your gallant decks, and under your protecting wing. Alas, betwixt and you, the turbid waters roar. Go on, go on. Oh, that I could also go. But I can't swim. I cannot fly. Oh, why, as I was born a man, of whom to be made a brute. The glad ship is gone. She sails in the dim distance. I am left in the hottest hell of unending slavery. God, save me. God, deliver me. God, let me be free. Is there any God? Why am I a slave? I will run away. I will not stand for it. Get caught or get clear. I'll try it. I had as well die with auger as the fever. I have only one life to live, to lose. I had as well be killed running as dying, as die standing. Only think of it. 100 miles, only 100 miles north, and I am free. Yes, God helping me, I will. From the prayers of some of the enslaved people to prayers of people whose families were enslaved. Paul Dunbar, O Lord. The hard-won miles have worn my stumbling feet. O soothe me with thy smiles and make my life complete. The thorns were thick and keen, whereas I trembled trod. The way was long between my wounded feet and God. Where healing waters flow, do thou my footstep lead. My heart is aching. And from Malcolm X, from the Quran, praise to Allah. I submit to no one but thee, O Allah. I submit to no one but thee. I submit to thee because thou hast no partner. All praise and blessings come from thee, and thou art alone in thy kingdom. And from another woman whose family was also enslaved, Mary McLeod Bethune. Father, we call thee Father because we love thee. We are glad to be called by children and to dedicate our lives to the service that extends the willing hours and hands to betterment of all mankind. We send a cry of thanksgiving for people of all races, creed, classes, and colors the world over. How wonderful, graceful to be able to turn one's mind and soul to others, knowing the life that you are living. And so with that, I will say that there are so many opportunities to know so much about a people that have suffered so much in this country. And in doing so, we look at the proclamation that was signed by President Joe Biden last February. National Black History Month serves as both a celebration and a powerful reminder that Black history is American history. That is why it is essential that we take time to celebrate the immeasurable contributions of Black Americans, honor the legacies and achievements of generations past, reckon with centuries of injustice, and confront those injustices that still fester today. You can read and download the entire proclamation if you Google it. So he ends with, in witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 30th day of January in the year of our Lord, 2002, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 246th Joseph R. Biden. I have so many other prayers, but times will not permit me to elaborate further. But I will say at this moment, I would like to call for a moment of silence for you to reflect or maybe say your own personal prayer. And I offer you my personal prayer. And some of my prayers may sound like the prayers of my ancestors, because I am painfully aware the struggle isn't over. I am painfully aware that if I pray today, I would be praying my personal prayer that the word continue. I will be praying for more white allies to put their bodies on the line, to take action, not just read books. I would pray for the safety of Black people in this country, especially all of the Black men that were killed through oppression. I would pray that the stereotypes that too many people live with will be moved from your minds. I would also pray that the governmental, institutional, systemic racism, structural racism in this country would come to an end. All of these things I pray. And as I look at my prayer, I am asking you for just a slight moment for you to create your prayer. And with that, it is always a pleasure to return to the Unitarian Fellowship, to such a peaceful place. Even in looking at the visual on the screen, to be able to be in the backyard of your fellowship, I feel would be very peaceful, and I intend to do that. I just made that commitment today, where I can unburden myself, commune with nature, and look at the open skies. As always, I am very honored to have had this opportunity to be with you. And I hope that there will be many more occasions, because the work isn't over. I thank you.